Good morning. My name is Donald Preston McAllister, and this is my senior project. Now, I probably should have asked for further clarification on whether you wanted to show face or just like voice in the recording, but I'll go with this. If I need to show my face, I guess I'll resubmit it if necessary. But let's move on to the first slide. If it'll respond. Okay. So, starting off, I'll say a few things about myself. I am a part of the founding class of Bladen Early College High School, which you should already know. For half my school life, I've lived with my mother in Lumberton, North Carolina, until I moved in with my dad during my sixth grade year. Uh, I tend to have kind of a quiet and reserved demeanor, but I've been trying to move out of that since I've been here, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Something else about me is that I procrastinate on assignments, no matter how important they may be, which often leads to stressful days and nights as well as rushed or unfinished work. The last part is that I am irresponsible. Now, this is a term that I know many may use loosely, but I actually believe that I am. Uh, and there's a reason behind this. I apologize. I'm irresponsible, and I have like a few things to go along with that. It might be a bit extra, but I just feel like I need to say it anyway. Rather than complete my work ahead of time, I'll wait until the last moment or choose not to do it at all, which is something I did last night with my chemistry assignment. It was given to us 2 weeks ago, and I waited until last night when it was due to actually start working on it, and I didn't complete it. This is a problem I have with many classes, including English, chemistry, like I said already, and math. And this trait I have, or this habit of waiting until the last minute to do assignments, or just uh, completely disregarding them entirely, has moved on to this class, senior seminar, and I apologize for that. It's not that they're necessarily difficult, I'm just too lazy to deal with them at times, especially when the assignments seem minor or tedious. Since the beginning of, I guess, my school life here, everything was pretty easy. So, I mean, at first I put forth a lot of effort because I really want my grade to look good. I want the highest score possible and everything, just like I was in middle school. So I put forth a lot of effort and it paid off for me. But then I guess I got, what's the word? I suppose I just lost focus. I got too complacent. I got complacent and I started to slack off a lot on my work. And as a result, I believe during my 11th grade year, that was like the worst year I've had at this, like, ever. All my grades were the lowest they've ever been throughout my school life, and it was just an overall tough time period for me during then. I'd often blamed the instructor for giving an assignment too soon, even if I was given notice in advance, and it just stressed me out constantly. But I know better than that now after reading QBQ by John G. Miller. His book taught me about the importance of personal accountability and how it can affect me throughout life. There's a quote in the book which I believe I can relate to, and it's, "Let's take care of the little things while they're still little." This means taking care of problems as you first notice them to prevent any complications later on. The book talks about how a man's negligence to a minor problem almost led to his son getting injured. Now, this minor problem involved a, I'm not sure if the book described it as giant, but I'm gonna say giant mirror that was outside, and he was told to move it into the garage. However, the man put it off throughout the day, even though he was told multiple times to just put the mirror in the way, so to like, because it's a hazard. If it falls, breaks, someone can get hurt. But he ignored these warnings, and it pretty much came back to him later on. He told his son to take out the trash that night, and as his son's taking it out, he just hears a large crash. He runs outside and sees like hundreds of pieces of glass scattered around his son, who's like 6, 7 at the time. But miraculously, the child's okay, which I'm really glad that's how that story ended, because I thought it was just going to take a dark turn. But the more, well, what I got from that story is that procrastination can lead to unforeseen circumstances, even if it's not as dramatic as someone getting injured. Well, yeah, even if it's not as dramatic as someone getting injured. Another quote I like is from a show called One Piece. The main character, Luffy, says, "If you don't take risks, you can't create a future." And truth to that, he ended up taking a lot of risks throughout his life, but it paid off for him in the end, because he's now well on his way to get what he most wanted in life, which is something called the One Piece. It's like some type of treasure, but I'm not going to go further into that. This is a cartoon world, right? So their logic for things is not the same as it is like in real life situations. Like, depending on what the story calls for, they can adjust their motivation in a snap. However, I think the quote he said, "If you don't take risks, you can't create a future," can be applied in real life. There's no way to prepare for everything we face, and there's also no guarantee that things will happen just because you want them to. I believe that the best way to move forward is the willingness to take risks, and secure the future we want. Sorry, I didn't move the slides, but that was the quotes that I was talking about. Is it? Okay. So next is my topic. My topic is an area of work I plan to pursue a career in called robotics engineering. This is a section under mechanical engineering that focuses solely on the development and design of robots. Their main goal is to create machines that replicate human activities, such as lifting, turning, sliding, walking, running, etc. I'm not too sure about the sliding. Well, sliding could be included. Moving on. The possibilities are endless. Okay. Let me backpedal a little bit. Many engineers even go a step further by creating complex designs that replicate the human body down to the last nerve. The possibilities are endless on what such machines would be able to accomplish, so it's difficult to narrow it down to a specific task. I believe it's important to understand just how crucial robotics engineers are in the world, or just robots in general. I mean, they increase production, they perform what would be hazardous tasks in place of humans or even animals most of the time. They allow us to have luxuries such as smartphones, computers, smartwatches, like the smart home cleaning robots, smart homes, refrigerators, appliances, uh, prosthetic limbs. That involves robotics. and biology, but it's a combination of the two, and so much more. In theory, with robots being so prevalent in our lives, uh, even if they go unnoticed, finding a way to further incorporate them should not be too difficult. So now we get into my proposal, which is to start a robotics club. With this school being somewhat new, there isn't nearly enough funding to pursue something like that, at least if we try to do this on our own. But if there's a way for us to collaborate with other early colleges, then we can find a way to put together some kind of fundraiser, maybe like a play, a sports event, uh, an art show, possibly, or just any other way that people, or just any other method that people would like to go to and will be willing to pay money for to get this program started. Now, the there's like an important like robots. They're able to do basically any task. They can, well, as depending on how advanced they are. So like simple robots, they can maybe open a door or pick something off the ground like a block or something. That's pretty much what's how robots are displayed most of the time. But depending on how they're designed, they can do much of the stuff that like humans can, such as like interacting with people. Although that's pretty advanced, it's still possible. They can maybe take out the trash. Some can like cut the grass or blow, rake leaves. Just anything. Just think of anything that someone doesn't want to do at the school, for instance, or around the community. They can pick up trash or anything along those lines. I believe it also be beneficial if we can try and get an expert in this field, like robotics, to assist us in getting the program together, or if not, create a program. We okay. While I would want us to have a robotics club, I realized that that's going to take time. Instead, could we at least get an expert in this field who's able to teach us about robotics other than the college side, but like this one focuses solely on robotics, not industry type machines, but just like moving parts, creating something, creativity. It just something that promotes creativity within us. It's hard for me to explain it. Uh, I'll elaborate more on this if you want me to at a later date. But overall, I think this would be a nice experience and an amazing opportunity. Even if I wouldn't be able to experience it firsthand. Okay, next is my self growth deposits. Uh, I can't name all of them at this time, but I can name the most recent ones. About a year ago, I opened a bank account under my dad's name at State Employees Credit Union. And now that I'm 18, I'm able to get my own uh, savings account. However, I can't get checking unless I believe, 20 or 21. So I was thinking about opening a bank account somewhere else where I can have a checking and savings account at the same time, and it's under my control. Uh, I have a friend who's under Truist, and they have a student account, and they asked me if I wanted to make one, and I said yes. So within the next few weeks, I'll be making a banking account under them. and hopefully it's what they say it is. Like, I'll have full control over my checking and savings account. And with that, I can move on to my next self-growth deposit, which is stocks. Now, with this, I have to have my own account. Okay, so the reason why I wanted my own account is so anything I earn in stocks, it can like immediately go into there, and I won't have to worry about the funds not being taken, but being sent to my dad instead of me. I don't know. It's just an independence thing for the most part. Uh, let's see. As of now, I don't know much about it, but again, I have a few friends who are familiar with the stocks and will be able to set me on the right track. Additionally, I've started watching several videos on how to find a good stock, when to buy, when to sell, and just general navigation within the market. There are many individuals, especially those who appear on the news, who claim that the stock market is very profitable if used properly. Those are two words that should not be said right after it. I'll note that. So I want to see it firsthand, but not before preparing myself. Another growth deposit I have is, well, another growth deposit I hope to have in the future is getting my driver's license. I'm pretty sure all but 3 of my friends have their license already, and I'm older than all of them, which is kind of it's kind of discouraging for me, but I'll get mine soon. I had a couple issues when I tried to get it last Friday, but hopefully sometime in January I'll be able to have my license, which is necessary to open a stock account. So once I get that, I'll be able to properly open an account and begin investing. Another growth deposit I had is with a service called KiwiCo, which is the logo that's on the screen. Okay, phone fell, but it's the logo that's on the screen now. Now, KiwiCo is a service that has something called crates, each crate focuses on a variety of different subjects, or it allows you to explore a variety of different subjects and areas, such as arts and crafts, engineering, science, and much more. What's interesting is that they have something for all age groups, so you're never too old to try something new. I promise you, this is not a sponsored advertisement, but the way I put this, it sounds like it is. The ones I got were about science and engineering, because that's pretty much my focus as far as my career. And those are known as the Tinker and Eureka crates. They tend to be a bit pricey unless you use the discount code, which is what I did. But with that being said, I've only gotten 2 crates. 3 crates so far. They're about... phone fell again. They're about they're about $30 each, like each month to get a crate, and that's a little bit insane to me. But I got my first 2 crates for $30 in total, so that wasn't too bad. I learned a lot from them. They were definitely worth giving a try, but it wasn't what I was looking for. I was recommended KiwiCo by a guy named Mark Rober, who's a former, I think, robotics engineer for NASA, which is just crazy to think about. And he said that was a good service to try if you wanted to get into engineering. So I did that, and I'm not sure exactly about my experience with it, but I mean, I did learn something. So I can say that. I did try it. I learned a few things, but I'm gonna have to move in a different direction from that. The next step I'll take is getting a quote unquote build a robot kit from Amazon or another marketplace, because I feel like that'll teach me more uh, on my particular career. But yeah, that's it for my South growth deposits. And then, of course, I got these. This right here is one of the crates that I got. This is a hydraulic crane. It's a simple design, and the instructions are simple. It's nothing too crazy. This is the other crate I got, called a mechanical lockbox, which it teaches you about locks, how those mechanisms operate. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then we just disregard that image. State Employees Credit Union, and I've also been working out some. I can't really stay motivated for it. And I've tried asking like Diego and a couple other friends how to get into it, but they said I just need to go to the gym, and it's kind of hard to do that without a car and proper transportation. But moving on, authentic experiences. Now, this is an area of my project that's severely lacking, because I haven't really spoken to any experts or had any like formal experience with robotic engineering. However, I did take two classes which I believe would pass. During the first semester I had in 2020, well, maybe not the first semester I had of my 11th grade year, I had electricity and intro to mechatronics. Now, in the electricity class, I was taught by an instructor named James Lennon. While I have no clue of his exact certifications, I learned a lot more than I thought I would. PLCs, IC chips, circuit boards, pins, switches, as well as basic to advanced terminology that goes with them. I'm really glad I got to take those two courses together, because the information was just interchangeable. So anything I learned in one class would immediately be, what's the word? It's like specific words I'm looking for to describe it. But they just build upon each other. And that helped a lot with any assignments we had in the class. Speaking more on the mechatronics class, I kind of hate to say this, but we didn't do much in there. Most of the class time was spent talking about our week or our day, if anything interesting has happened, or just, I don't know, general conversation. But if we had any questions about what we read in the book, then he'd gladly answer, and would sometimes be able to demonstrate what we learned on one of the many machines that they had. There's a large room. It has like a glass window that we can see everything, but in that room, it is massive. There's, I want to say, at least 20 pieces of like large machinery around, and he showed us how most of them work. He told us about around the time when they were made, and we just got to learn as much as possible from him using it. And I believe that was like the best part of that class, because it felt like I was actually getting some, not necessarily hands-on, but how would I say that? I guess like just first person. Well, first hand experience. That I'll say that. I'll say it like that. Uh, yeah, I really like those classes, but haven't had any other experiences besides those. And as far as a plan for the future, uh, I'm gonna be honest. I can't answer any of that right now. So I'll just move on to the next slide, which uh, would be my life plan. Now, I have kind of a summarized version up there, but I'll add more onto it. From 2022 to 2026, I plan on graduating with my diploma and degree. After that, I plan to attend NC State University, or North Carolina State University at Raleigh, and work towards either a master's degree in science or math, and I may uh, end up getting both if it'll serve a greater purpose in my career. But if not, I'll just get one uh, right then, and then maybe get another one later on as I need it. Between 2026 and 2030, uh, if it just so happens I'm still in college, I'll focus more on building my connections for life outside school. That means getting in contact with maybe the alumni or the someone or a group similar to that in order to like plan for potential work study experiences like internships, volunteer work, etc. that focus on my career. And during all of this, I'll start working on my personal projects. Now, uh, this is going to be really difficult to find out, well, to work out, because I know I'll have to work as well, like have an actual job if I'm not doing the internships in order to like fund any personal works I do. Unless, of course, I'm supported by the school and they help me get the materials, which I'm really hoping will be the case. I'll begin with working on small projects first, nothing too out there. Seeing how they work, how I can improve them, what I did right, what I did wrong. And then eventually, I'll move on to projects that may take a bit longer, like a month or a few months, actually. It just depends on how much time I can set aside. But no matter what project I work on, I'll make sure that it's something that I can brag about a little bit. From 2030 to 2035, I plan on continuing my work on these projects, but I'll also use my connections to get my business started. And I'll talk more about that a little later on. Sorry for the long break. I was just revising something real quick and good. Okay, so in my plan, I hope to have built up enough credibility, enough that I am working at a well-known company, or maybe just like a great company, or a company that's a good fit for me in general, and gradually working my way up to a higher position and learning as much as possible about how they operate, what strategies they use, etc. Just anything I could possibly get so I can start my business. And I know money, once again, is needed for that, like it is for everything in the world, pretty much. Which is why I want to get started with stocks as early as possible. So when the time comes, I can use that money and it won't take as much effort, or money won't be as much of an issue when it comes to starting my business. because I know that's a problem many new business owners face. There's like unexpected fees and cost, maybe like repair costs or something like that come up, and it just cripples a business before it's even started. So I need to start using my money more wisely. See, and from 2035 to the future, that's to be decided. I, of course, I'll ideally uh, have started my business or getting ready to start my business, and not yet. There'll be so the idea I had for my like what I wanted to do is manufacture robots that serve a variety of purposes, like a multi-purpose robot. Let's just say that they'll be human-like, able to cook, clean, drive, teach, and interact with everyone, and just so much more. Coming up with a brand name is something I think will be very challenging, since there'll likely be a lot more companies out there with these cool names. But I will get together a team or just a group of colleagues or whatever to come up with a name, and I'll think more about that later. But it's going to be hard to start that in general if there's a shortage of electronic supplies right now, like these chips that I talked about kind of earlier. They're necessary for all electronic devices, so uh, it's not just one thing. It's the chips for phones, computers, watches, TVs, everything. So unless the supply increases, there's not going to be much for me to work with, and there wouldn't really be a point in starting the business anyway if the parts are going to cost too much. I need there to be either an abundance, or I need the economy to be stable in that respect. And as long as it is, then I believe I'll be good to go. But right now, since everything's uncertain, I'll just end my plan there. Getting close to the end here. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is my personal philosophy. It states, for a second guess you may subject, then your first choice is likely correct. Now, this is something that I should have followed way back in like beginning of middle school, because for so long I've second guessed myself on any on everything I do in life, whether it's playing a game, uh, homework assignments, tests, etc., or even when I had a job, I doubt myself on everything I did, and I have to stop that. That needs to change. I need to believe in myself more, be more confident in what I do, because in the end, that's the only way to succeed in life. And as the last slide is the reflection. So the hardest part of this assignment was just time management. I knew the assignment was due, right? But it seemed like it just kept getting moved back, so I thought I had more and more and more and more time. But no, I should have just gotten it done the moment you introduced it, or I should have been working on it so that by this time I'd already have everything together, it'd be solid, and I wouldn't be doing a video recording right now. I'd be presenting this to you, or I would have already presented this to you. But something else that I wish I would have done is gotten an interview with an expert. I'm not sure how I would have did it. I probably would have just went online, searched up someone and how to email them, asked them a few questions if they were willing to. but I wasn't able to do that with time constraints, so I'm guessing that'll be points taken off. But anyway, I was able to learn more about my career, so that's a plus, and as well as what I need to pursue it. So this was I won't say great, but it was at least a helpful experience. Uh, and yeah, that's it.